Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Over the course of the past week, we obviously saw a pretty big update to the perks in Warzone that ended up changing quite a few of them. And in that initial patch note blog from Raven, they actually revealed that yes, we are going to be making more perk changes in the future, especially in season 3. So today I wanted to break down what we could expect in season 3 as far as this perk update goes and what could be changing with the perk meta. As we go through it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. So obviously we've got our standard perk selections in game. I've gone through and taken down some notes on what I think needs changed in every single category here. In some, you don't really need many changes. In others, perk 3, you need quite a few changes probably to actually balance things out. If they want to create a diverse perk meta, a lot of stuff does have to end up getting buffed in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion, because honestly, a lot of these perks I feel like are pretty beneficial as they stand right now and probably don't need too many nerfs with the exception of a few. For instance, perk 1, really the only perks that I don't think are all that great are Kill Chain and then Scavenger. Double time is perfect for the better speed, especially if you're an aggressive player. EOD is always great because it protects against explosives and actually got buffed, with this last perk update. Cold Blooded is great because it actually counters High Alert and Combat Scout, and it also helps out in Plunder as well. So it's sort of a niche perk, but it does work out really, really well. And then Quick Fix, as we know, also got a huge buff recently, which makes it super valuable as well. Kill Chain, though, increasing your chance of finding kill streaks in supply boxes. I mean, cool, but am I ever going to use that over any of this stuff? No, absolutely not, right? So Kill Chain definitely needs some better incentives. Maybe all kill streaks are discounted at the buy station. Obviously Hardline does that, but I don't think Hardline's a very good perk either, spoiler alert. But in general, I mean, Kill Chain just is not a very valuable perk and doesn't offer you anything that crazy versus some of these other ones. So this definitely needs buffed in some capacity. Scavenger, on the other hand, also got a buff with this last perk update, and now actually guarantees that a loot pile drops an additional plate, which there is a plate issue in game now after the whole armor satchel update. It seems like plates are way less frequently found. That said, you still get plates and ammo from every single person you kill or most chests. So Scavenger doesn't really have a place in the meta still. I feel like they also need to incentivize this. I think the best thing they could do for Scavenger is to guarantee increased money drops both out of crates and off of bodies. I feel like that's a much better plus than ammo and armor, which you are already guaranteed off of bodies. Money is always hard to come by, especially late game, and if you need it, Scavenger could be a huge deal there. Perk 2, probably the most competitive perk tier in the game. There's only two ones that I think here are really not all that great. That's going to be Hardline and then Point Man, but Point Man's sort of got an asterisk because Point Man is a great perk if you're trying to level up weapons and, grind out weapon XP. It's awesome then, best perk in the game. If you're not trying to do that, it's useless. Like, there's no point in ever running this in a normal game of battle royale if you're just trying to win the game and you don't care about weapon levels or anything. So there definitely is an issue with Point Man, but also at the same time I feel like it is balanced specifically for weapon leveling, so that one's kind of a weird one. Hardline, on the other hand, versus something like Restock, incredibly valuable, especially after the buff. Tempered, which is incredible, especially with 300 health. Overkill, which is obviously essential for 2 primary weapons. High Alert, which is super nice because it triggers that sort of screen flash when someone's looking at you. And Ghost, which has been a top tier perk ever since Warzone was introduced. All those are great. There's no point in ever using Hardline to get discounted streaks and, buy prices versus any of those. So this is another one that definitely needs a little bit of an amp up, if you will, to make it worth using. And by the way, if this isn't clear, the perks that I'm talking about specifically in this video are the ones that I imagine they're probably going to do something with to make them more competitive and to open up this perk meta, just in case. But yeah, Hardline, again, this is a tricky one. Like, how would you buff this in a way that it stays true to the initial perk? Maybe this offers something like that guaranteed free self as if it were a fire sale. I really don't know how you buff Hardline to make it more competitive when it's something that's supposed to discount prices at a buy station. So again, kind of a tricky one. And then we get to perk 3, where I have a lot to say. Perk 3 is the primary reason I wanted to make this video, because this is where I feel like they're going to change the most. Because in perk 1 and perk 2, like I said, there were only 2 perks that I feel like needed changed. In perk 3, there's only 2 perks worth using. So obviously you need a lot of changes here to make that a little bit more competitive. Obviously, the 2 perks I'm talking about are Amped and Combat Scout. Amped has been my go-to perk ever since day one of Warzone, really, because that faster weapon swap is ideal. Yes, you can get that with some of the grips on Vanguard weapons, but that also hurts your ability to have a faster ADS or better control, because obviously you're not using fabric or polymer grips instead. So I'm not really too huge on those. I love Amped as my perk 3 perk. I can't stand when I don't have perks in game and I'm trying to weapon swap or why, and it's like, this is miserable. I hate this. This is not fun. It's not fast. The other most popular one in the game right now is Combat Scout, and I guess we can start first with this one. This just clearly needs a nerf. It offers no competitiveness in perk 3, and obviously what Raven's striving for is having that diverse meta. That's why we have all the weapon tuning. That's why they started to adjust things with the perks. Combat Scout is the opposite of a diverse meta because everyone wants to use this because it's cheesy and it's easy, and that's a rhyme, so you know it's factual. It's just, in my opinion, it's unnecessary. The wall hacks are annoying. It allows for any tier player, good, bad, average, to know exactly where any tier player is. If that's a bad player trying to escape, Combat Scout's going to get abused. If you're an average player fighting a good player who has like good movement, that good movement gets tossed out the window because of a perk that you are guaranteed to get. You know, it lowers the skill gap too much, in my opinion. Also, the free ping on everything, kind of obnoxious as well. This definitely needs some nerfs, either to the time that an enemy is highlighted, maybe how many bullets it takes to highlight a player, or that live ping needs to be removed as well, in my opinion. I'm sure that'll be semi-controversial because it is the most popular perk in the game, but I do think it needs a nerf, and I've heard sort of that same sentiment from other top players as well, from, you know, streams that I've been watching or stuff like that. It does seem like Combat Scout really is not too favored by a lot of players, even though it is still the most dominant perk in the game. Let's get to some of the other ones. Tune Up, reduce the charge time of field upgrades and reduce revive time by 25%. This one is super niche, and like we talked about before, like I said in the last time we talked about perks, this is a perk geared towards your teammates going down, which is not a good thing, right? So in my opinion, this should offer bigger incentives. Maybe it reduces the self-revive time by 50%. Maybe it makes it so that when you revive somebody, they don't start with 30% health. They start with, 75% health. Or if they have plates, they spawn in with a plate already active on them. Something like that would obviously make this a lot more ideal because it really does increase your chances of survival immediately after getting rezzed, where you're so vulnerable and have no health, right? So that's something they could do for that. Shrapnel. This is just useless. You can carry more equipment, but it's the same amount of equipment you can carry if you just found 2 of them on the ground. So is that really worth it? In my opinion, not really. Maybe if they bump this up to being able to carry 3 pieces of tactical and lethal, it could be a bit better, but I don't really feel like this is ever going to be a top tier perk. Battle Hardened, this one's simple. Just make it have more resistance against stuns and flashes and stuff. As it stands right now, if you get stunned and you have Battle Hardened on, you probably can't tell that you had Battle Hardened on. Like the reduced strength of enemy flash stuns, EMPs, gas, it's really not super noticeable. And so like, why would you use this perk if the difference between you having it and not having it is that minimal, right? So that definitely needs a buff. Next up, Engineers, another one that is just really not used all that much. Being able to see equipment through walls is cool, and like if you get a specialist token, all right, yay for you, but it's not something that's ever going to be more valuable than Combat Scout or Amped. To really buff this one and make it more effective, again, this is sort of a weird one because it's such a niche perk specifically based around equipment. Maybe with this one, if an enemy calls in a UAV, you get 1 ping off of that, and you can figure out based off that 1 sole ping if enemies are around you, sort of like the communication towers on Rebirth. Maybe that's something, but like honestly, that's just me tossing something out off the top of my head. It's just another perk that doesn't really have much grounding. Tracker, this is going to be an interesting one because right now it's only useful for seeing footsteps, and that's obviously only close range based. If you're going to have a perk like this, I feel like you could also make this very, very useful if you allowed it to, give players the ability to hear enemy footsteps a little bit louder. I think that we do know that an audio update is coming with directional footstep audio in season 3, but what if you made it so that if you're running Tracker, you get to see footsteps, but also enemy footsteps nearby are more audible than whatever they are after this new update? That to me would bring a ton of value to Tracker and definitely make it competitive versus Amped and Combat Scout, because audio is a huge piece of information in this game. That said, that's what I would sort of expect with this new perk update coming in season 3. I don't think they're going to change many of the meta perks outside of maybe Combat Scout and nerfing that. I think primarily we're going to see buffs to all these perks that we talked about in this video. The several in perk 3, the 2 in perk 2, the 2 in perk 1. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below, though. That said, that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.